Good day traders, Richard Jacobs here, and welcome to this week's edition of the Underdog Weekly Perspectives Report, where we reflect on the trading week that's passed and also form some views or perspectives on what we think the markets are going to be doing over the coming days and weeks. First up, apologies for my ill-sounding voice. It's because I'm quite ill. I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, so hope you can just bear with me as we work through this video. Let's just kick off and look at what's up on the screen, and it's our intraday 15-minute chart of the top 40. And really what I wanted to highlight for the purposes of this report was this break to the downside that we saw happening in the latter part of last week. So on the intraday basis, we saw the market push down quite sharply, and then it moved into consolidation on Friday and seems to be putting in this let's call it a complex retracement at this point, as it closed the opening gap, Friday's opening gap over there. So a bit of a bearish intraday structures that have formed or materialized over the course of and into the close of last week. And what we're seeing at the moment on an intraday basis, let's just pull out Fibonacci retracement on this last leg of the move. Yeah, you can see the market's pulled back into the 38.2 level and closed the gap, and certainly that there's a potential for it to pull all the way back into that 61.8, which lines up with this previous price structure over here, coming in around about the 49.300s level. So some consolidation after last week's push to the downside playing out on the shorter term time frames. And one of the points we made to our on our daily trade signals report was really that for a large part of last week we had this after this break to the upside or continuation to the upside, we had this really choppy trading action playing out over here before this emphatic break to the downside. And that would have made it a bit difficult, especially towards the start of the week for intraday traders. But certainly this move into the latter part of the week, if you manage to catch a piece of this breakout over here, that would have been quite profitable, in the sense that it was something like just over 1,000 points to the downside all in all. So that's what's happening on the on an intraday basis. If we look at that through the daily lens here, you can see the start, or what appears to be the start, of that retracement that we've been waiting for, as the market rolls out from this overbought conditions over here, puts in a lower close, and puts in the lower low. Now, depending on how you analyze your price structure, and there are various ways to do that, and that's the kind of thing that we look at in the Underdog Trader Development Program. You could be drawing in this retracement leg over here, or you could be waiting for another confirmation leg, another lower low, before committing to drawing in this start of the retracement. In either case, what we're seeing is, looking at it from a Fibonacci perspective, you see the market's pulled back into this 23.6, so quite a shallow little retracement at the moment. Levels to the downside, if we were to see a deeper retracement, certainly all of these levels do appear valid, because what we've got is, if we do pull down further, we've got that 38.2 more or less lining up with this previous price structure levels over there. Even the 50%'s got a bit of price action or price structure playing out over there. And here we've got some previous price structure resistance, now potentially support, sitting at the 61.8 level at 46,500. So certainly not clear cut that the bears will be in ascendancy over the coming week. Even looking at today's intraday trading action at the time of this recording, which is 9:30 on Monday morning, remember we spoke about this this consolidation that's playing out on the intraday basis. The market's back up at that just over the 49,000 level, so it looks like a bit of an inside day printing at the moment, and that's why we prefer to wait for another lower low, or a break of this this candle's low over here before we start drawing in that retracement. The stochastic's moving down very, very fast at the moment and working. It's pretty much worked off its overbought condition. In fact, we may even see it pushing into the oversold territory within the next couple of days. So, looking at it through that lens, while it certainly does appear that there is a retracement of some sort of consolidation playing out at the moment, it looks quite shallow at the moment. And do remember that we are in a bullish trend. So don't get too excited on the short side as yet. If we look at what's happening on the volatility side, this is quite gratifying. We're seeing a nice little uptick over the past few days, especially with that 1,000-point break to the downside. A nice little uptick in volatility over here, which is good to see. And that's what we really want to see pushing into the end of August and into September. We want to see volatility kicking up so that we can bring more of our trend trading strategies online and really benefit going into the spring and summer months. So that's what's happening on the top 40. Let's have a look at some of the international markets. Sorry. Let's kick off with gold. And here you can see gold's really benefited from that retracement that's been playing out. It's pushed to the upside, putting a really deep retracement all the way back into this 88.6 level of this leg to the downside over here. And pretty much threatening to pop through the upside. Well, even though on the day, again, it's in a bit of a retracement, certainly this 100% level and the potential for it to push through this $1,300 level appears to be on the cards at the moment. So that's something that we're going to be keeping on the radar. If we look over at the US, putting in this nice higher highs, higher lows all the way, and then we saw this sharp retracement playing out over here. It's looking more bullish on the day at the moment. And if we put a Fibonacci here, I suspect, notice how the market retraces back, and pretty much taps in, closes on that 61.8, finds support there, and it looks to be continuing to the upside. So again, despite that sharp pullback, things still remain bullish on the US markets. I mean, we would have to see it pull back and break structure to the downside through this call it around about this 2400 level before we started getting too bearish in terms of what's happening on the US side. We go over to London, see what's happening on the FTSE. Again, FTSE, we had this leg to the upside, nice impulse legs, a complex retracement. Where it pulled back, didn't put in a higher high, put in a lower low over here versus this leg, but we're still operating within, let's just throw that in, within this impulse leg right there. So, in that sense, we still have, at least on a call it a medium term time frame, things are still bullish. Then we have this continuation to the upside again, didn't really follow through. So things are quite choppy, and then it's pulled back. At the moment, this level here, which lines up nicely with previous price structure there, and there is holding. So we'll watch it, see if this, the market can find some support or some traction off support over here and continue to the upside. Choppy market if you want to trade it. The DAX. Much better trend in place on the DAX. We had this break of structure to the downside towards the end of June. Nice retracement, continuation move to the downside, retracement, continuation move to the downside. Good trend, much easier to trade for a trend continuation or trend following trader. And now we're seeing another retracement. This last continuation move to the downside didn't push really far down into the lower low. So certainly we're going to wait and see. Markets pulled back into the 50% retracement level over here, so there's certainly some room for further retracement to the upside that could play out. Bears will not want to see this market push through this previous structure high over here. Instead, what they'll be looking for is a retracement back up. We're now in, and then a continuation move to the downside. Let's have a look at the SEG. We highlighted that as one of our stronger markets, and even there we saw that last week. We saw this call it a retracement at this stage playing out pretty much almost into this previous price structure over here. But again, on the day, at the start of the week, it's looking a bit more bullish, so we could see some further upside, or at least some consolidation playing out over there. So as things stand at the moment, as we go over to the rand dollar exchange rate, things are certainly not looking as gloomy as they did towards the end of last week. Rand dollar, nothing much. I mean, we had this move to the upside of a year, deep retracement, continuation, move to the upside. Small little consolidation playing out at the moment, the extent of which we'll keep an eye on. But certainly, we made the point, if we see the market breaking through that 1360, 1365 levels to the upside, that could open the door to further weakness, and that would provide a nice underpin for our local equity markets, for our top 40 specifically, given the impact of the rand hedge stocks in that market. And we would expect that to add to the case for further upside on our market. So putting all of that together, what we're seeing at the start of the week is, let's start off, going into the end of the week, we saw that potential retracement starting to play out. As we start the week, we're seeing some short-term consolidation playing out. So we want to be wary about just going short here. I made the point that we are in a bullish trend, that even going short of bearish signals at this stage, it would be counter trend. So those traders who went short going into the end of last week, they'd be feeling some heat at the moment, because what we're seeing is at least some short-term consolidation, and even the potential for this just to be a very, very shallow little retracement or continuation move to the upside. We simply don't know at this stage. What's important is for us to wait and see early on, let the short-term consolidation or continuation move play out, and then make our decisions accordingly from there. Guys, that's pretty much it from our side. No specific trading opportunities that I really want to flag in the weekly report at the moment. I think we have one position open on the daily, which is available to our daily subscribers, and that's still playing out at the moment. But all the best for the trading week ahead, and as always, be wary of your trading, be careful, trade well, follow your rules, apply the good and right disciplines, and feel free to drop me a line if you have any questions around your own trading systems, or if you need any support in terms of developing your trading strategies. That's it for now, and I shall chat to you next week. Cheers.